It's now the next day, and I guess I thought I would carry on with the tutorial here. So now what we can work on is doing the head strap and then the cushion part here, and we'll see what other details I can do today. But yeah, we'll go along with it, carry along with it and see how it's going. But as far as it looks for now, it looks alright. Doesn't look great, but it looks good enough. This section here, I think I just want to maybe iron out some areas. So I think what we'll do is, if I took a look at this reference here, it is quite a hard edge there. So I think what I'll do here is maybe add in, well, let's actually fix this first. So this area here has some weird things going on, which I'm not too sure. I think if I just get rid of this line, then add in another one, that should fix that. And then maybe I'll add in a line over there, a line over there. Take a look, now the edges are a bit harder, and then we'll do the same at the top piece here. So if I can find it, where is this thing? This one, yeah. So let's add some lines here as well. Get rid of these two lines here and just bring them closer by going and adding them back in, something like there. And then I think we'll do here as well. And then I think we'll do here at the top as well. Cool. And then I think we'll also re-add in these lines here as well. So let's just take a look at both of these smoothed. Yeah, so I think this edge needs to be a bit harder. So I'm just going to go and add these lines back in again, like so. And let's take a look. Cool, I guess that's fine. I think this line here should be closer, so I'm just going to go and get rid of this one, and then I'll just go and add in this line in just closer, somewhere like there maybe. Let's smooth it and take a look at this edge. Guess that's fine. I think maybe just slightly closer, and then I'll just go reuse and add it on that side as well. Cool. Then the section, I feel like it's not thick enough. No, it's actually looks like it's right. So the section here, I think what I'll do is I'll do what I wanted to do earlier and just make a hole here. It's not that big of a deal. I think maybe the best way to do it is take these. So if I go, can I ring selection this? No, let's just go and do that, that, and then select these two. At least let's see how we can extrude this while getting these two lines in. Can I make this smaller like this? Okay, I think we can do that, and maybe just extrude it in untick create caps, like so. So now if I go and push this down, and then I just add in some lines for some support here. So if I add in a line, let's go symmetrical cut again. I don't like how this thing's there, it's always annoying. Now I think we're getting what we were looking for in terms of the hole. And if you want, you can even just actually take this thing here. Let's see, let's go add in another subdivision surface just so that the axis is corrected. Go 3 again, and then here we'll just push this up. And then here I think I'll just go and add in a cube. So then we need to get these proportions right as well. So here we'll go paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. Then here I'll just push this down. I'll make it editable. Then I'll just scale it in like this. Maybe scale it in like this. Just so that we can get this, see inside here there's a little bit of a gap here. So just gonna get that gap filled in just a bit. Like that. And then here you can also make this a lot shorter. It doesn't have to be so tall like that. Just so you have that detail in. And then this round section here, I think we'll do that by using a spline. I feel like these headsets should be pushed back a bit more because we want the cushion there. If you take a look here, they're actually not that close together. I don't really have great angle. Oh, there's a better angle to see. So you need to pretend that the cushion will be there, and I think I'll model the cushion. I think we'll do the cushion part first. So maybe here I can add in another null and go in here, maybe go -45, just so that we can invert it back to a straight angle there. And then I guess I don't need to do that. Actually, I could just do it this way. So I think we'll go and add in a cylinder for the cushion, change the segments to 30, and we'll just drop this radius down. Now, instead of actually rotating it, I think we'll just do it this way, just so our axes and stuff are a bit more aligned to everything else, like that. Then here I'll go make it editable, like that. Cut out this hole, and then I'll just go push that like that. Take these lines, push them back. So then we'll go, let's just center this axis again. Why is the axis there? Oh, let's go optimize it, center the axis, and then we'll push this out. We'll take these faces, we'll extrude them out. We'll take create caps like so. You'll see here on my one, this thing doesn't actually wrap over, it just goes up to the edge there. I just thought that would be a lot easier in terms of modeling instead of trying to get this thing to wrap around, and no one actually cared, so that was fine. And then here we'll just go and ring select, make this smaller. Something feels off and I'm not too sure what it is. Think maybe I should rotate this thing 90 degrees just to keep it just keep the geometry the same as the rest. It'll just slightly help with aligning up. And then here we can just go and change the axis, press enter. Cool. Now what we want to do is you'll see here that it actually slightly curves out here. So let's go and slightly curve it out there. Then this part here curves in like a cushion, like so. And then we'll go loop. We'll add in 2 lines here, and then we'll just take these 2 lines and push them out. Cool, so now we're getting our cushion. Now we need to look at how thick we want this cushion to be. We want a bit of a roundish shape here. So let's go scale this out. Scale this in. We'll add this inside a subdivision surface and take a look. Cool. I think we'll go and add in a loop here. Let's untick symmetrical. Or what we could actually do, I think if we just remove these back faces, since we don't really need them, that might mess up geometry. I think we should actually leave them there just in case. Let's just not mess that up. So we'll just add in a loop there, take a look. That's looking better. We'll change this to 3. Cool. And on the inside here, we also want to loop. How far is this thing going in? Not that far. But let's go take these faces anyway. Let's just go solo this. Take these faces as well. Let's unsolo it. Then I'm just going to go inside here. What am I looking at here? Okay, I need to zoom in a bit more. Then go inside. Cool. So I think I want this to be pushed out just a bit. Like that, just so it's more touching instead of going inside. I guess that's enough. Then here I'll go and just add in a loop there as well. I'll smooth it, take a look. But I feel like this section here should really tuck in. So I'm just going to go and scale this as well. Should really tuck in like that. Take a look. It's a bit hard to see, but I guess it's fine. Maybe here I'll just push this out very slightly. And then here I'll just go and add in another loop down there. Cool. This piece, maybe I'll just scale it in slightly and then maybe push it like that. Take a look. It's a bit hard to see with the shading and stuff, but I guess that depends on how far you want to go with your details as well. But yeah, so this is looking okay. I think I want it to maybe be slightly bit thicker. So something like that. Maybe I'll just go push this in as well. Like so. Looks a bit too thick, but I guess it's fine. Let's just scale this out slightly. Scale this out slightly. And maybe how far do we want this depth to go? So let's push this out a bit. Push this out a bit. Take a look. Okay. Let's take these again. Push them out. Take a look. Okay. Okay, I think that's fine in terms of cushioning. So let's start renaming these things just so it's a bit better with organization. This we can call, I don't know, logo section base. I guess we can call that right base, or no, just call it base. This can be our outer, and I can call this connector because it's going to be in between the outer rim and the actual head strap. You can rename these whatever you want. Then here we can call this earmuff right. And then this is our outer save. And yeah, we can, this is supposed to be called connector. And I'll just put these two in here and call this connector. Connector. I feel like I'm spelling connector wrong, but I feel like that should be an O. Anyways. Alright, so now if we go and get rid of this rotation, and then we symmetry it, now we can see that we actually need to push these a bit to the side here. So just wondering which one it was. Was it this one? Yeah, I think it's this one. Like that. If we take a look at my reference here, it's a bit of a space there. So like that. So now if we go into the side view here, wrong side view, this one, we can go and bring in a circle, make it like that, something like this, and we can just like sort of see where around we would want this thing to be. Let's go 10.4, 10.5, 10.6, push this down, 10.5. Okay, so I'm going to turn this angle down to 2, just so it's a bit smoother. And kind of want this section here to be straight. So I think if I go 10.6 and then push this up, it might be a bit more accurate. It's like maybe 5.5. Something like that. Let's go make this editable and see what we have in terms of points. Okay, so we have a bunch of points here. I think what we'll do is we'll add in a, let's actually undo that. I made a mistake by clicking join segment. I don't know if I did anything to it. So let's just undo this until it's not editable anymore. Ooh, we need to make a save of the circle actually. So we'll just make a copy there, just so we don't have to do it again if we get it wrong. Make it editable. Here I'll go and create a point down here. Maybe down there. And I'll just go and delete everything else. Ooh, we also need to make sure that if we tick, yeah, so see, okay, let's just delete that. That's why we created a save of it. So if we go and untick close spline here, we need to make sure that this thing's angled the right way. So let's go rotate it 90 degrees like so, and then we can go add this point back in down here. So let's go add the point down there. Then we can delete this, delete that. Then we can go and put this inside of a symmetry like so. Make sure it's the right way. And now you can see that we have our head strap starting to form here. So if we go and put this inside of a sweep nub, and then put inside there, we can put a, let's go with a rectangle. Let's go 1, 1. I can see what we're getting. So let's go change this width to, no, let's change the heights to 3, 3.4, 3.8, 3.7, 3.6, 3.6. And here we can go 0.9. Like that. Then we can just go rounding. Take a look at our actual geometry here. We can change this to uniform. Or what's a better method? I think uniforms actually might be good because we want, I think I'm going to do a bit of sculpting, but I'm still not sure. Let's take a look at my reference here. This isn't completely round, it's actually quite flat in some areas. So let's go turn this rounding down to 0.2. Let's turn this up to 10, 15. Let's go 20. Now this all depends on your PC power and like what you don't, if you don't mind having too many subdivisions and stuff with your renders. If you have a strong PC, then it's fine. You might want to go with less polygons if you do struggle with that. It all depends on what your PC power is. Personally, actual polygons doesn't actually make that big of an impact in terms of my renders, but it all depends on you. So I guess that's a fine number. And here we need to connect those two. So think inside our symmetry here, we're going to go, let's turn this down to like that. Cool. So now they're nice and molding up there. And let's take a look around here. It looks fine. Let's look inside. Ooh, we already have an issue here. Let's remove, no, cap. Let's remove this cap. Okay. So now it's welding properly and it's all closed together. We don't have to make this editable just yet. Yeah, I think I might be getting some close-up views on here. So I think I'm just going to bring some more subdivisions in here. It's not going to hurt too much. But yeah, you can see we already have quite a lot of subdivisions in the scene, and it all depends on your PC power, depending on how many subdivisions you want and how well you want to optimize it. So, right. So, I don't have that much experience in sculpting, so I'm not too sure how many polygons we should have when it comes to our base mesh and our actual final in terms of sculpting and stuff. So you can take all this information with a grain of salt in terms of subdivisions when it comes to sculpting this stuff, but I think this is okay. It might be a bit too much in terms of a base mesh since we're going to be turning it up when we're sculpting, but we're not doing anything special with sculpting. We're just adding slight creases. I've only really sculpted a few times, so I'm not like that great at it, and I don't really know that much about it. But yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to go and duplicate this, keep a saved version of it like so, and we're just going to go make that editable, and then here we'll do the same with our earmuff. So we'll go and make a save version of this, and I think here for our base version here, 0 might actually be good enough. No, let's go 1. This might be good enough for our base. So let's go and turn off our symmetry. And let's try sculpting here. So if I go into the sculpt section, so I'm also learning how to do this myself, so I might get a lot of this wrong. I'll just cut this out if it doesn't work. But what we need to do is we need to subdivide it so that we get actual, you see in our objects mode, and we have now the sculpting tag here, and then we'll go subdivide it again, add more details. So I think what we'll use is the pull. Yeah. For my actual stamp here, I'm going to go and use one of Polygon's sculpting tools, sculpting brushes, which you can download from polygon.com. And here I'll use this one. So here we'll go with this 4K alpha texture here. And then inside here, I'll just turn up the size. Let's take a look. Let's turn up this pressure. So we need another level of detail. Take a look, another level of detail. Now you can start to see we're getting really high in terms of polygon count. So it really depends on how your PC can handle this. Let's just turn up this length. Cool. So this is kind of what I'm looking for. And I might actually want to go for the knife tool here. Turn up the size. Let's turn down the size. And then let's just select this thing again and take a look. Okay. I think let's go, maybe turn up this pressure, turn down the size. Okay, so this is what I'm looking for. Now, depends on what type of look you're going for in terms of actually rendering this thing. You might just want a clean product look, but if you want it to look a bit used and a bit more realistic, we're going to add some of those in. But I feel like the base mesh is already, there's already something wrong here. So I'm just going to go back to my startup section here. I'm going to delete this quickly. Then I'm just going to bring back the save version. I'm just going to, on the save version, I just want this to be a bit wider on the sides here. I feel like it's too thin. So let's just go and select these. Let's take a look at the back. Okay. And let's just go and scale this out very slightly. I just want it to reach the edge a bit more. Yeah, I think that's a bit better. So, okay, we'll go and duplicate this again. Then we'll just repeat what we did here. So we'll turn that down to 1, make it editable. And we'll just go back into our sculpt menu and then do the same thing. So we'll just subdivide it again a few more times till we have some nice definition going on here. And then we'll take out our knife tool again. Take a look. See, it already feels like it's still not close enough to the edge, but I guess this is fine. It's close enough. So now I'm just going to start like adding some slight creases and stuff to the sides here. Again, I've only sculpted a few times, so I'm not really that advanced in this. I'm not really that great when it comes to sculpting and stuff, but it's a great way to add details. It's a lot more, not practical, but it's a lot easier way than doing it through textures and displacement maps and actually trying to model this would be difficult. So just adding some creases on the sides here. The actual depth depends on how used you want it to make, it look. I generally like to go for realistic renders. I generally don't try to go for the perfect product look. A lot of people criticize my renders because they're like, oh, why is there dirt on this and that? And I'm like, the point is to make it look realistic in terms of a render. It's not trying to sell this product. I'm not trying to sell this product myself. If someone hires me to do this and they want it to look perfect, sure, then I'll do that. But I try to show in my renders my abilities in terms of trying to make something look real. And the best way to do that is add in details and imperfections and stuff like that. So yeah, so this is what we're going for on the edges. My actual headphones are so broken that the earmuffs is actually like broken off, so I can't see what it would actually look like. I'm sort of just guessing. Then there will also be like creases on the inside here. We might be going a bit too far in terms of detail. This brush might be a bit too harsh actually. but we're still getting in these nice creases and stuff that you would see just adding in those imperfections. And we're doing all of this with one brush. I think we'll use the second brush on the top just to get those scuffs in. Guess that's fine. Yeah, so we'll just switch out our brush here quickly to the other one which I got. This wrinkly fabric look. Then we'll just brush it on top here and just take a look at what that gives us. Okay, so I think this one we might want to go with a bigger brush, like so. Just rub it around there and see. You can see, sort of see what the look I'm going for is. So if we go into this view, just rub it around there. You can see I'm trying to go for this like wrinkly fabric, just so that we have some imperfections and it's not just like this perfect cushion. So if we go rub this around here, kind of getting that. It does look a bit repetitive though, which I don't really like. If I turn up this length, that might help a bit of it. Again, I don't know much about sculpting, so ooh, that actually looks not bad. So we want to get this very like fabric-y look inside of it. We don't want it to look like a perfect cushion. There we go. Okay, so let's just bring some of these in here as well. Because if it looks like a perfect cushion, perfectly round, it's not going to look real. And this is all up to personal preference. I'm pretty much just drawing circles here, but you can see the sort of detail I'm going for in the end. What if we subdivide it again? Not that much of a difference. So let's decrease it down. Then we can go and take a look inside of Octane render. Now, sometimes this doesn't import into Octane render correctly. I still haven't figured this out. But we'll just take a visualization just to see what actually happens. So I'm just going to save the project in case it decides to crash on me. Then I'll go and bring in an HDRI. So now we're sort of starting to begin our texturing process as well, since we're bringing in actual render view here. And let's just load this up. Cool, so now we can load this up here. We brought in an HDRI just so we have some lighting to go off of, and we can take a look at what our actual thing looks like. Let's just change my settings here. I'll just change it to my starting preset just so we have some more accurate lighting. Cool, so now you can see we're already getting some nice scuffs and imperfections going. It may not be realistic in terms of what actual product would look like in real life. I think it wraps around here actually, but I think it's good enough in terms of a render. You can sort of fix it depending on how you want it to look. And this thing, I think I'll just push it down just so it goes in more like that. And you can always go back and edit it and revert it. And we also have a saved version here as well, so you can always just go and go back if we really want to. But I think that looks good enough. It doesn't have to be anything spectacular. This section here, I also wanted to go and just add some slight imperfections. You'll see on mine, I actually have two sections here with colors. I think that'll be a bit difficult to do in this tutorial. If we do that, we might run into some issues. I did run into issues with mine, so I'm not sure if I want to go into that, because the textures and stuff sometimes bug out. Do we want to do that as a question? I think we can leave that for now, actually. So, I'm gonna feel bad if I don't do it. Yeah, I don't think we'll do that. So I think we'll just go and add in some actual imperfections here, like just some. We'll do the same process. So we'll go into the sculpting menu here. We already have a lot of subdivisions on here, so I don't think we'll need to subdivide it that much. As you can see, we already got a lot of subdivisions in there. So let's just bring out a tool here and see what it looks like if we don't do anything. So let's subdivide it once. Okay, that tool's not doing anything. So let's go and change our brush back. Like so, and then let's just go and bring down the size and maybe turn up the pressure. Okay, so that's what I was looking for. So turn on this pressure, bring up the size. And on the edges, it doesn't seem to be doing much. Let's bring up the pressure. Okay, so now we're starting to get a bit of what I was looking for here. So if I go and just brush along the side here, you can see we're sort of getting this imperfected look. I think this pressure needs to go up even more. There we go. So I'm just going to brush down the sides here, like so. And now we're kind of getting that imperfected look on the sides, which is what I was going for. And we can do it on the other side as well. Just brush along the sides like that. Boom. And then the top parts, you might not want it to be that strong, so maybe I'll turn down the pressure, turn up the size, and just brush along here. Let's take a look and see if it did that. That did anything. Did a bit, not much. So I just undid that and maybe turn up the pressure a bit more. Let's take a look again. Still not much. Let's really ramp up this pressure to 100%. Again, it might depend on the angle, so I'm just going to try from a different angle. Still nothing. Let's turn on the size and see. Okay. Now we're starting to get a bit more of what I was going for. Like that. So let's just turn on this pressure, do that again. Cool. So I'm just going to put some down here, some down there. And go on the other side here, do that as well. So let's just put this like that. Cool, so now we're getting this like imperfected look, which is nice. Oh, let's be careful about that. Okay, so do that there, do that again. Okay, I kind of think I went a bit too much. might have gone a bit overboard. That might be a bit too much for you. Depends on your own personal preference, but I think that's all right for a tutorial. You get the concept of it. So we turn on our symmetry, and then we go inside our live viewer here. We can sort of see what our final product will kind of look like. So let's just let this thing load in, and because there's a lot of polygons, obviously your render times will be affected, but you can see it looks good in terms of realism. You can see the imperfections here and over there, but you can see the render times are getting affected, which might be a bit of an issue. It depends on your own PC specs and how long you're willing to wait and how much detail you want in. So this section here on the bottom, let's just go, it actually has like a chord here that comes out here, so I'm going to duplicate this, and the reason why is because it only has a chord on one of them, so I want to keep a save of the other one for the left side. And then this will be the right side one. So if I go here, we can sort of figure out how we want this thing to actually extrude out. This is a bit tricky. I might have put in the wrong subdivision levels because this is starting to get be an issue. So what we could do is we could just go and take these two lines here. Let's get rid of these two lines just so that we have, just so it's easier for modeling. And I think I'll get rid of these two lines here as well. Wait, let's not do that actually. Or can we? I think we're allowed to. Let's get rid of these. Let's try and add this back in and see if we're allowed to. Yeah, we are. Okay. This bottom piece here. What am I doing actually? You don't need to do that. We can just extrude this down. So I can just extrude this. And we can scale this down like so. So this is actually perfect. Now how do we get this in the middle of everything else is the question. Let's go and rotate this back. Where's the rotation here? -45. And then here, what's the height? Something like that. We can just go and paste this in there, like so. And Cool. So now we can add these lines that we removed back in. We can just go symmetrical cut. It was somewhere there. And then here as well, it was like somewhere there. You can go reuse this for the other side. Oh, that won't work. Let's just go turn off symmetrical cut. It was something like this, and then something like this. Let's go take a look at the top here just to make sure that everything's fine. Yeah. So let's smooth this out and see. Looks fine. There's a bit of a bump there, but I guess it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, it's not perfect, but it is a tutorial, and it sort of depends on your time to get that looking perfect. But this section here, I think, should be scaled out a bit more. So let's just go here and scale this out. Take a look. Cool. Now if you add these lines in here, one on this side, reuse, one on that side. Now we're kind of getting what we want in terms of this bottom piece here. We also do want a line over there. Let's take a look. Cool, so I think this is what we're looking for. Stall, I think this should actually be scaled in a bit. So what we can do is just remove this line again. Select these points and scale it in. Let's take a look. I think that angle's right, so we'll just go add this line back in here. Just turn off reuse, just add this line back in, take a look. I think that's right. If you want, you can add in a line here and just see what that looks like. Yeah, I think we should do that. So let's go and add in a line on the other side as well. Add in a line down there. Smooth it. All right. Okay. So now there's a hole that comes down here. Whoops. We'll go and add in a line in the middle here. Just go bring this back in. 50%. Then here we'll go and bevel this like that. We'll go and take this thing here and we'll extrude it up like so. Cool. Then we'll go add in a loop there and a loop there. And now we have our hole. So this is where the thing will be. Just deciding if I actually do want a hole here or not. I don't think we do. Let's go take a look at our reference. No, we don't. So let's undo that. Sorry. We don't want a hole there. What we want is to create this thing. That's a funky looking thing. 1, 2, I'm just calculating how many subdivisions I would have had there. Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, makes 4, 8, 12, 16. Let's bring in a cylinder and sort of try and figure out what I did there. Let's go 1, 1. Let's go in our radius 0.1. Let's bring this down, up, down, up. Oh, there we go. Just try and center this out roughly, and then we can just turn this up. Okay, so just turn these segments down. So there's one there in the center, then it's one for that cut, one for that cut, one for that cut. So there should be 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that would make sense. It's kind of a tricky thing to make. Why is this not? Those lines should be lining up, but they're not. That's a bit strange. Oh, it's because of the position. I'm an idiot. Okay. I'm still trying to figure out how we're going to make this thing. Let's go and create a copy just so we don't have to make that again. Let's go and make this editable. Then here there's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I think it's, oh, it's so strange. I can't believe I. Okay, let's go and maybe we'll go add in 2 loop cuts here. And then we will go and take these lines here. I think what we can do is extrude these, or bevel them, sorry, and let's bevel it to 0.3. And I might actually want to make sure the size of this thing is right as well. I guess that's good enough, no one really cares. Then here, we'll go one, where's this thing? Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, there's actually 1, 2, 3 of them, not 2. Sorry. Let's do that again. Let's go loop 3. And then let's go take these lines again. Let's go bevel them like so. Like so. I think that's fine. Yeah. Then here we'll go on this side. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then on this side we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. Then this side we go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then this side we go 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. Cool. So that's what we're getting there. Then what we can do, I think I want to say create a copy again just in case. We'll go and extrude it inside like so. And then if we smooth it, we can sort of see what we're getting here. Okay, so now you can sort of see how the shape's forming. We just need to harden out some of these edges in a smart way. So let's go and add in some loops to harden out some of these edges here. I think if we add in symmetrical loops there, and then reuse, there again, and then smooth it. Cool, so let's turn this up to 3. Cool, let's just change our shading. Let's go and add in a loop there and see what that does. Yeah, I can see how it's already messing up the whole shading of everything. Let's go add in a loop. Let's go symmetrical again. I'll add in some loops here. There. Take a look. Okay, we're getting alright. We're getting close. Still not too happy with it. This thing should actually be rounder. So I might be having good problems here. Let's just go and scale this in 70%. Take a look at that. Cool. Not too sure what's going on with the shading here. I think the issue is I need to go get rid of these lines quickly. Just take these 2 lines here. Like that. Just take these lines here. Then if you go and scale these out and then smooth it, should be a bit better. But you can see there's something wrong here with the shading. It might be this Fung angle. No, it's not. Okay, so let's just undo this. And then let's just make sure that we're doing the same at the bottom here. So I just want to select these lines here. Just undo that. Select those 2. Make sure we're doing it on the other side as well. Then we'll scale it out 130%. Then here I'll just go and do the same here. Select these lines here. Then we'll scale this out as well at 130%. So whoa, what's going on? Let's do that again. Okay. I might have made a mistake. I think that scale's fine. Let's just go and make sure that our actual axis is the right way. So let's go 130. Just want to make sure I scale these things, the ones I just scaled before, the right way as well. Kind of feel like I didn't. Take a quick look. I think they look fine. Let's go smooth it and see. That shading is still bugging me. I'm not too sure why that's happening. You can even see on this side here the shading's wrong. I might have done something wrong with the extruding again. So let's take a look inside. Maybe there's something I'm doing wrong inside here. No. Inside it all looks fine. Let's take a look at this Phong angle. Ooh, untick edge breaks. There we go. That's funny. So just untick edge breaks and it'll fix itself. So now we're kind of getting what I did before in that section there. And yeah, I think the size is also right. So at the top here, you can just delete the top faces if you want it to be straight. But I think what we'll do is maybe just add in a line at the top. So I'm just going to go solo this. And then we'll just go and add in a line up there. Like so. Let's undo that, sorry. Let's go unreuse these and just go and add in a line there. Then we'll push this line up here. Just make it a hard edge, like so. Then we need a hole that comes out the bottom here. So for the hole, we can just go and select these bottom faces, extrude them in, and then we can just go and extrude this up, maybe up to there, it's fine. Then we can go add in some loops, so we're adding a loop there, not reuse, symmetrical, add in a loop there, add in a loop there, and then smooth out those faces. So now let's go and remove the soloing, take a look at the whole thing. Cool, so now we're getting closer to what we wanted. So for the actual cable here, we can just use a spline. So we'll go into this view. We'll go and just take a spline like so. Just add in some points. It depends on which way you want yours to face. Let's just go something like that. We'll just change that to B-spline. That's good enough. I'll go angle 3. And I might have too many points. No. We duplicate this just so we have something straighter there. And then I want it to be smooth. I don't know why it doesn't look smooth. Let's do that. Maybe cubic is a better option. Like that is fine for now. And then we can go bring it inside of a sweetener. But let's just get rid of this Octane sky. It's a bit bright. Then let's bring in a inside. Go 1. Let's go 0.2. We can turn up the sides to 12. Then let's go 0.25. And then this thing here, we can just go to 3. Then this thing here, we just need to push this out a bit more that way. So let's just undo this. Bit this way. Something like that. Let's turn this up to 5 again. Like so. And then we can put this down here. So do we need this? Let's just see if we need these up. We don't need that. We don't need that. We can put that in there. So now what we'll do is we will let's go and undo this angle change, and then here we can go and play with these points here. I don't want them to be sliding up like that, so let's just go and undo the sweep here. Let's just make these go down rather, to make that. And then we can figure out what we want to actually be symmetrized and what we don't. So we can call this outer right. Right. So then the other one, which is saved, outer left. So bring that other one out of the symmetry, like so. We can bring a null inside the scene, put that inside the null, just rotate it 180 degrees, bring it out again. And we can take this outside the symmetry as well, this thing as well. So we'll call this wire, and then we'll call this wire base. Then we can bring in a null and call this left, and bring in a null and call it right. So this should be, what's going on here? Yeah, I thought this would happen, so let's just go and create a point there. You can just go 0 out this coordinate here. That's the problem with this method. Let's just change this back to B-spline. We can worry about the curviness of the line later. And then we can push this down like so. Okay, like so. And then what we can do is we can put this inside the left, put these two inside the right, like that. Let's see one inside this connector. So let's go solo the symmetry, and then tick that on. So all the stuff that we want to be symmetrized is, this should be inside the right. Cool, so now that's what we're going for. Okay. If you want, you can go and make a separate EMF, or just rotate this or add some variations and stuff if you're that fussy with the details. But I think that looks good in terms of modeling. Now what we only really need to worry about is the texturing. We need to worry about this section here with the ribs, or the hexagon patterns, whatever you want to call it. And then we also need to worry about getting our logo on top here. I might not do that because it is a bit tricky. And then we'll put our logo here and then go into some basic texturing, and then we should be done after that. The rest is all up to you in terms of like how detailed you want to get the rest of the project and stuff. So I'm just gonna take a break until this lawnmower stops for a bit, and then we can get into the actual texturing of the model. But let's just try and figure out which might be the best. Maybe Acima. Let's go push this. No, let's go with B-spline. I don't like B-spline because it doesn't look that circular. And smooth. There we go. So that's a bit better. But now we might have some more issues there. Oh, I forgot the modeling section here. We need this thing to come out. This part's tricky though. I almost forgot this section here. So we need this headphone jack to come out here, and it took me a while to get it right. So I'm a bit worried about actually doing this. But let's take a look. Okay, so the headphone jack comes out here. And we need to be careful in how we do this. I think we'll go and add in a line. So the headphone jack actually comes out through here as well. So there should be a circle being cut out here. Things are getting tricky now. So how do we want to go about modeling this? Because I did struggle with it. You'll see there's some weird shading going on if you take a close look. Here, the shading is a bit incorrect, and that's because I struggled a bit. Not too sure how I cut out this hole here. I probably just used Boolean, but we'll see. Yeah, so I actually used a Boolean modifier, and it turned out to come out not that great, but we'll do it and we'll just see what we can do and try and make the best of it. Just let's try here. I'm not that great at modeling myself, so I'm not too sure how I'm going to go about making this myself. Let's go and change this down to 4. Just turn these on like so. Let's change this axis to X. So this is where our hole will be. And instantly as I tick this on, we'll start having issues. So let's just see how we can do this. So this thing actually comes somewhere down like this. It's good to get the position in right first before we start turning things on. I think that's how the hole will be, somewhere there. And it does collide a bit with this and comes out. So maybe I'll even turn this up to 3 and just push it out like that. I might want the hole slightly bigger to 5. Let's turn on this Boolean and see. So now the issue is when we try to smooth it, you can see it's a very hard edge. I guess if you're fine with that, then that's good enough. Let's take a look at our shading here. We are having some incorrect shading, which is the issue. Depends on the textures you are applying and stuff. Here you can see it's not that big of a deal because of the textures I'm using. But yeah, if we go and turn on create single object, now you can see where the issues start to happen. So let's go and inside here add in a line here just so we have something, so we have some even shading. Where is this? What am I looking for? I'm looking for normal. Let's go push this down just so we have some even space between these two. Let's take a look. Cool. And then what else is the issue here? Let's go and make this editable. I wonder if I add in a line down here, what will happen? Let's go take a look there. Cool. So that actually works. If I go and add in a line. Okay, so let's go and save this. And I think I'll put this inside a null as well, just so that it all smooths properly. Let's go smooth it, and then here we can go and make it editable. Okay, so now what we've done is we just made our Boolean editable, which basically just does that. Let's go and add an a line there. And I think that is pretty much as good as we can get in terms of a hole. There is some incorrect shading there, and you can go and try and solve that yourself if you want. Maybe if I get rid of these lines here, let's just see what happens. Get rid of those lines, take a look. Didn't do anything. So let's just bring those lines back in. I think we might have to add in a point here and then push it further a bit that way, just to smooth out some of the shading in terms of the straight line here that we're getting. But I don't think I really want to go into that. But I'll show you what I'm talking about. So just add a line, a point there, point there. And then let's just push these that way. Let's take a look. See. And then if we go and push this up this way, no, don't think it actually works. So I'm not really sure what to do in that section, to be honest. In my original project, I didn't actually fix that. I just left it because you couldn't see it. So yeah. And then we need to, so it's a good thing we kept a save, so we can just take the same cylinder here and then take this object here. Let's go bring in our lines again. And let's go try and ball this without any issues. So let's go do that. So let's go smooth it. That doesn't look great. Let's go create single object. Yeah, things aren't looking too shabby. I think I could fix this. If I go and get rid of these lines here, solo this just so we have better visibility. If I get rid of these lines, bool it. So let's go and make that editable. Smooth it, okay, and then now if we try and add these lines back in again, let's see what happens. Oh, that's going funky. Where is it stopping? There. I think this thing here is an issue. So let's go get rid of this line here. I'm not too sure how to work this out. There's definitely something wrong in terms of... Ooh, this line's going down there. That's interesting. Oh, I think I know what's going on here. So let's try and fix some of the shading here. Let's go and get rid of these two lines, or just let's get rid of these three. Let's go cut like so. Here I'm just experimenting a bit. Let's go smooth that. Okay, we're getting somewhere with that. Let's go cut like, wait, before I do that, let's get rid of these two, these three, and here we can go like so. Then on this side, okay, then you can get rid of this line as well. Then here we can go and do the same, just cut like so. Let's take a look at our shading. Okay, we're getting close. And then here we can just go add some loops in there. Much better. So let's see what we can fix here. I don't think this line needs to be here. Let's get rid of that and take a look. But we might actually want something there to harden the edge, so let's leave that there. I think what we'll do is we'll go and add a line there and then just connect those two. Then it's doing the same on this side as well. And here we can just push that there, and then here let's go and magnet those two together. And here we can go and do the same thing here. We can just turn on a snapping and just snap it together. Then I'll just go into commands, optimize, like so. Oh, wow, I can't believe we actually got through that. So, may not be the best in terms of shading, but it looks good enough. But now you can see what's going on here. I feel like something moved. This thing moved down for some reason. What's the coordinates of this? Let's copy that, paste there, and then let's go 0 this out. The coordinates of this is correct. No, it's not. Yeah, I moved something by accident during that process. Cool. And once again, we've kept a save. Well, we don't need to do that actually. We can just bring in a new cylinder. That turned out a lot better than I thought it would. So we can go bring in a new cylinder here for our actual headphone jack. Go 1, 1, let's go 0.1, go 2. And we can just push this down here. We can change our axis to X. There. Make it thicker, 1.5. Okay. So how many subdivisions do we want here? So we're going to go and smooth this out. So we'll just go down to 12 to make things easier. Make it editable. I'll push this out. Optimize it. Push this out. And go solo it. And I want it. There's not really a great way of doing this inside of Cinema 4D, which is annoying. But I want to go and rotate these faces. So I think I'll just go and rotate it 40 degrees. And then inside the side view, I'll just go and scale it up. It's annoying that Cinema 4D can't do this better, but maybe I just don't know modeling well enough in this program. Seems like Blender Maya does a lot better things like this. But then my alarm just went off, so I had to cancel that quickly. But yeah, we'll do the same again on this side, and then just scale it up 130%. Cool. Where are we? We should be here. All right, so let me just pull out my microphone here and see what we've got going. Now I can start shaping this a bit. So you'll see here, I can just use this reference actually. I'm not going to go and add in this detail here and here. You can do that in your own time, but I will just do a slight amount of detail just to show you the basic concept here. So, probably shouldn't have done this so quickly. Yeah, I don't think I should have rotated this so early, but it's fine. We'll just go along with it. So let's go there, there. We'll add in a line there, add in a line there. Then we need this line here to be straight. So I think it's the same concept. We can just do it the other way around. We can go 40 degrees, was it? And then scale it down. Yeah, that doesn't look too great, but it's fine. Let's just go and get this angle as close as possible, and then we can worry about the scaling. Something like that. And I guess we could just... Let's just go and copy this position, paste it, copy that Y position, paste it, that Y position, paste, and repeat the process. Then here, we'll just do that same rotation thing, just so that when we add this loop in, it's a bit more straight. It doesn't have to be perfect. No one's going to be paying attention to the angles of your of your faces and stuff like that. No one really cares about that. So let's just go and do the same thing here. Cool, so now we can go and add in that line here that we wanted, like so. And let's take a look at our reference. We have that line there, that line there. So I think this thing should be pushed out a bit more. Then here we can go and add in 2 lines again. There, there, no, there and there. We can go solo this thing. We can select these. That's wonky. Yeah, so we're getting a bit strange in terms of shading in there, but no one's going to see inside there, so it's fine. We'll just go 90 degrees and we'll add some loops to harden out these edges, harden out those edges. I kind of want to fix this actually. Let's just go and undo that. Let's go copy this, paste, paste. So I think that should fix it. So add an A line there, add an A line there, and if you take a look, cool. So we also want a line on the end here. We want a line inside there. We want to extrude this in. So let's go and make this a bit wider this way. We'll ring select these faces here and we'll extrude it in like that. Yeah, maybe scale it out a bit, just a tiny bit. So let's just go and scale it out. Let's go smooth it so we can sort of see what this looks like. Cool. Then we'll go add in a loop here, a loop there. So change this to 3. And I think we're getting close to what we're looking for in terms of the final look. So let's go and select these lines here. And I think I'm just going to push this a bit closer, like so. And we can add some loops in here as well, like that. Cool. And then here, I believe, is a very slight indent here. So I can go select these faces, ring select, and extrude it in. So here we want a slight extrusion, very, very small, like so. We can go, there we go. Sorry, I just took a slight break there. I started coughing a lot because it's so dusty in this room. Let's go here and think what happens if we extrude this inside. You can see the angle's all messed up. So go 1.5 and then we'll go right click split, and then we'll go and take these again, go extrude them up, back like 1.5, take create caps, and then what we'll do is we'll go and inside here, go solo this, we'll go right click, loop symmetrical there, and then we'll go reuse, and then we'll, on the extruded piece here, we'll just go and reuse that there. So if this thing could actually let me do that, that would be great. Okay, reuse it there, and then reuse it under there as well. We'll just reuse it on the sides as well, just so that we have some even cuts going so that everything lines up in the end. We'll reuse it here as well. There, and there. Then we'll go and bring this other one out. And then we'll go smooth the bottom one, and then we'll go and bring this inside its own smoother, like so. And we'll turn this up to 3 as well. Now you can sort of see what we're getting in terms of that. So I think this thing here needs some lines just to smoothen it, just harden it out here. So go harden that out. So we just turn these 2 back on and harden that out as well. Take a look, and now we've gotten what I was looking for. I'm not going to add in these details here because that'll just add some extra time to this tutorial that doesn't really need to be there. You can do that in your own time if you want to. So now we'll get on to the actual texturing of the object itself, and I think we'll also do these pattern here. I think we'll do texturing. We'll do that through texturing, not modeling. But yeah, I'm going to take another break, and then I'll see you in the texturing part of the tutorial.